dude, you didn't pass me the TP, but
Yeah.
I forgive you.
Yeah.
Because that's the Nazi way. And it's like, I don't think you know what that means, man. Welcome to StoryFellas, the podcast where we make stories and we break stories. I'm your host, Tommy Antonucci.
And I'm your host, Zach Lovelace.
And we are here. We are recording at night. Zach says I need to up the energy, so I am going to be maximum energy the whole night.
Whole time. I want 10 out of 10 energy the entire time. We're almost screaming.
We're almost screaming. Make it so that these mics don't pick up anything. We can't hear anything.
I want to see nothing but red. Just hitting the red.
Just living in the red.
I live in the red every day, my guy.
No,
those of you who have finances will understand. Only those of you who have finances.
Only those of you who have... Someone's listening, they're like, I'm so glad I don't have any finances.
Yeah, exactly.
I just... all I own is this iPod and my headphones. Have you seen this has been popping up in my YouTube algorithm lately? People refurbish iPod classics. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen that at all.
It's really cool, man. It makes me want to
the ones that go like
yeah, the old school ones. The iPod classics were the ones that had all this storage, but then like these guys are like buying old ones off eBay for like $40, and then you can buy like custom new colored like the wheel and face plates, and this guy made like a full yellow one. Whoa. And then like up the storage in it and up the firmware. Like, it's crazy. Apparently they're highly moddable, and
that's great. I love that. I loved walking on the beach with an iPod classic. No one can purchase a memory as nice as that.
I keep mentioning it to Kelsey. I'm like, maybe I should try this. And it's just one of those things that, like, I'll fiddle with it, and then I'll probably be like, this isn't as convenient as just having my phone with me to play music.
Of course.
But it does make me want to, along with that is a lot of videos that are promoting owning content, like owning in this world of subscription, rental, everything.
Yes.
It's like owning digital media, owning your own songs.
To be able to download and own every episode of StoryFellas in your pocket.
You could have it
offline.
All for $19.99, 18 payments of it.
Higher.
Oh, 20, 30, 50, 199. This is free for you guys.
Having VHSs and DVDs, all of that, like physical media is going to make a big comeback. It already has been. You doing all right tonight, though, Tommy? You doing okay?
Doing well, man. I'm doing well. It's been a busy day. It's been a good day. Yeah, it's getting late-ish, but I feel like I'm getting my second wind, and I'm ready to tell a story.
Same.
I do believe we're rolling on your board.
Oh, tonight. Yes. So I have some scraps.
Got some scraps.
You know, just the ideas that come into your mind, they clump together and they end up being a scrap of some kind. And I want you to roll a 30-sided die.
Rolling.
And then you own this idea. So you can then take it anywhere you want. It can be a launch pad. It's whatever.
I can sell it to Apple and
you
make
can sell it to Apple
dollars.
And sell out StoryFellas, bump me out as host, replace me with whatever you want. Dude.
Replace you with a low-level AI.
Yeah, I really probably am no better than a low-level AI. So you might want to operate on a better.
All right, so 30-sided die.
Yeah.
All right, I've got my thing, and I am I'm rolling, and it is a 19.
Ooh, that's pretty high. Oh man, here we go.
I'd be impressed if you took the time to put these in order on like how good the idea is. Low is bad.
No. I don't even know how I ordered them. Some of them are very heavy drama kind of things. This one is not.
Okay, tell me about this 19, baby.
Here's 19. A man is asked by the man in the stall next to him, so those two men in two bathroom stalls, for some toilet paper. But as he's passing him some, he sees the man's knuckles are tattooed, and it says the word Nazi on the thing. And so he doesn't pass him the toilet paper. He just leaves the stall.
What? And this is a feature film?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I love it. It's so the guy in need of the toilet paper.
He's the Nazi. He's like, hey buddy, can you give me some toilet paper? And he's like, yeah, sure, man. And then he like just reaches under, and it's like right as he's about to do it, he sees his hand. And it's got like swastikas and stuff on it. He's like, oh, and he doesn't want to do it anymore. And so then he just leaves him there, and he's like, kid, I need that toilet paper.
Okay, there's a lot to dissect here. I can't believe you haven't made this into a masterpiece yet.
Yeah, this is, one thing away from being a masterpiece here. No, okay. I really like this. I think it's funny. I think it's
I think it could definitely be a sketch. And then I think it could be a short film too. I think with the right mustard on it, you could stretch it into a feature, and this is a scene.
I think it's the feature around it is probably a road movie, because think of something like Dumb and Dumber. It has a similar kind of thing where like Seabass, the bullish trucker dude or whatever that they piss off at the diner, kind of keeps coming back, or he catches up to them in another bathroom later down the line, and so. Something along those lines where it's like, it's just this like setup for a payoff. Yeah. And later
although what my mind was going to is that this could just be the beginning, and like he upsets this like small group of Nazis that are in hiding. And it's like, you didn't pass me the toilet paper. Yeah. And they come after him.
And they're like, hey buddy, that's not cool.
That's not, he's like, that's not cool.
Yeah. Like some Klansmen or something. I think them being like, bikers or something, a guy that has tattoos all over that could be racially charged. He maybe spent some time in prison or something like that, but not necessarily that they're like card carrying, we are Nazis, or maybe.
Well, it's funny because like if I encountered this in real life, I almost feel like it's some guy who doesn't know and just thought that seemed cool rather than a real Nazi, because I think real Nazis are pretty secretive about the thing.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm thinking of more of like an Aryan Brotherhood guy from prison who, they're tatted up with everything, like deep cut Nazi symbolism. But one of them having, your knuckle is perfect. You get 4 letters. Come on, Nazi. You telling me some Nazi out there is not like, I got 4 knuckles?
What if he, on his thumb too, he had it spelled N-A-T-Z-I, like he misspelled it?
Not Z.
I'm not Z, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's actually a Nazi, like or like a skinhead of some kind, and just roll with that.
I think what comes to mind, I picture the name Dudley for this dude.
Okay, I like Dudley.
Or Dougie.
Dougie's also good. Both of these fit someone who is a Nazi. Or are you saying the main character?
No, I was saying the Nazi guy's name is Dougie. Yeah. And the reason I feel it could be Dougie. Dougie's the protagonist and Dudley is the Nazi guy.
Oh, okay. That's not confusing.
No, I was thinking because it could be funny if there is this like kind of small cult-ish thing of like real Nazis.
Okay.
But then
they're reformed though.
Well, I was just
not theologically.
The rest of them are very secretive and like on top of it, and they're like, oh yeah, and then there's this my cousin, and like he's tatted up and he wears like t-shirts that say Nazi on them and stuff like that, and he's just like
very flamboyant.
He does not get the memo that they shouldn't be that open.
It's cringe. You're a cringe Nazi, dude.
Let's call the main guy Dougie.
Okay.
Our protagonist is Dougie.
Okay.
He runs into his stall.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out the form factor of what this is. Is this a short or if this is, I'm going to plan for a feature. Let's say 90 minutes.
Go feature. Go feature. I think this is where you just have free reign to kind of.
Okay. So, well, then we have a little bit of like establishing him as kind of this kind of like weird. I just kind of picture him like if he's getting nervous at this, like he's just very nervous about life and stuff. And then and he opens up and he's driving his car and he's eating a big bean burrito.
Okay.
And
as one does.
As one does. Well, we need to motivate him going into the stall. You know?
Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah,
Not. It's all for a reason. I guess it's all by design, Zach.
All by obviously design. It's setups and payoffs, man. It's setups and payoffs.
You see, it's Chekhov's burrito.
Yeah, Chekhov's burrito for sure. It's like Dexter's Lab. The whole episode he's eating the burrito. Anyway, whatever.
Okay. Anyway, I feel like we can iron out his backstory, but I think we get to this point pretty quick.
Yeah, like we're clearly in comedy territory.
Yeah, and he's in a stall, and he's kind of, I don't know, I almost picture him prim and proper, tucked in, like very polished, very like together. And then he hears this guy just like, oh man, and just like hobbling and like kicking over the wastebasket and like stumbles into the stall next to him. And then just the opposite of him.
Yes. So you're thinking like buddy comedy kind of territory.
It could be. Yeah, I don't. I feel like the contrast is one thing, but if I feel like where this movie goes is he gets kind of captured and brought into this group, and then he has to go through trials or something, and having someone on the inside that's maybe not his friend, but like he's like, dude, you didn't pass me the TP, but I forgive you. Yeah, because that's the Nazi way, and it's like I don't think you know what that means, man.
That's good. I think thinking about a plot that Dougie could be a part of, like a heist or something like that, where the Nazis could be a one group that's after him, or something along those lines. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm just trying to push us into some territory.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what motivates. Like, is it motivated by him not giving the other guy the TP?
The whole story, or just the like part of the plot?
I think I'm just trying to think where this goes, because it starts with this funny restroom scene. Where it's like, "Hey brother, can you slide under some some of that TP?
Help a brother out.
I'm a little light over here."
Yeah.
And by light, I mean,
he's like, things got pretty heavy over here, and I need some heavy duty.
I've never been so light and so heavy at the same time.
Yeah. I'm feeling 10 pounds lighter.
And then he's like, yeah, sure. And then he ends it, and there's the thing, and it's like, oh, and he pulls it back, and he's like, hey man, I didn't get any of that. And then he's like, and then he like wraps up and scatters off, and I like he still washes his hands, because he's that's the kind of guy
put together guy
he is. And he's like, brother, no.
You realize what you're doing? You realize who you're pissing off? He's like, he cuts to like a shot of Dougie looking in the mirror at the stall behind him, and it does like a snap zoom into the crack between the stall, and you see the guy leaning forward. He's like, I see you. I've seen your face. Yeah. I like that. Just like, that comes back into play. We don't like, he gets away or whatever, and it's like a weird interaction.
Yeah.
And then the real story begins. Where are they? I think it's kind of a good place to start. Are they in public? Is it like a bank bathroom?
I feel like this is as we've been talking, I just keep picturing a gas station bathroom.
Yeah, that's a classic.
Like maybe like a quick trip or something like that, totally. Where it's like they have multiple stalls and stuff. Like they have
a Flying J or something, like where it's big.
It's a good gas station bathroom.
Yeah, it's nice. It's not like
Dougie doesn't want to be there. Nature called, and he had to pull over. And
what if he works at the gas station?
Oh shoot!
He can't get away.
Oh man. That's really funny, man, because then like he has to be there.
Yeah, he does.
He's like, hey, I need to head home real quick. There's a family emergency, and they're like, all right, but you got to work late tomorrow.
Family emergency you've had in a month. You have to stay here.
I feel like there's because if the guy's like, I see you, like him fully leaving, like going home, freaking out. And then we get a little snapshot of his home life and how particular he is. And maybe he is like really particular. He's a little mildly OCD a little bit.
Yeah.
And then he comes back to work, and like a week later, like this, like he just recognizes the voice, and then he sees this tatted up dude.
He's like, I haven't washed my hands since because I've been waiting to wring your neck with them.
I think it's almost funnier if he says like, I see your face, but maybe that guy doesn't recognize him. It's like he goes up and he's like buying a big, like a family size thing of bugles, and he's got
digging chains out of his pocket, puts it on the counter, and you see the Nazi thing again. He's like, oh
yeah, and he's like, hey brother, you look familiar. Do I know you? Did we go to high school together?
Well, I like that there's a pretty big age gap.
Yeah, that's funny if there's an age gap, but he still suggests that. It's like Dougie's like in his like early mid 20s.
Yeah.
And this guy's like clearly like in his 40s. He's like,
I like he's in his 40s.
Did we go to high school together?
That the Nazi guy, I kind of like you playing with this idea that he's actually not a Nazi. Like he turned over a new leaf. He just has all these tats. Mm-hmm. I also think that he should probably catch up to him in the parking lot. Like with just like a booby butt. Which is such a stupid, like G-rated way to say it. The guy was
him like waddling out with his pants around his ankles. Hey, he jumps on the hood of his car.
Yeah, and he's just like, wait a minute. Oh, and he's like on the front, and then he like falls off. And his pants are all brown, you know. He just made an enemy. You made an enemy today. You made an enemy of the Aryan, society or whatever they call themselves.
So does he think he's a Nazi or does he not? Or
I don't know. We're playing with a lot of things. So I think the best way to go is like this is a plot starter. So like he's a dead end job kind of like gas station worker guy that then has to kind of go on the run because these guys are coming after him. Like this is the inciting incident for him to whatever. So he's being chased by them, which is like open comedy territory. Like it's all because
this is the road. This is the fork in the road. And I'm totally down to pursue this way. The other direction is we lean more into like, he just has these tattoos. Mm-hmm. He's not a Nazi. He's just this like crazy kind of dude. Yeah. And it becomes a buddy comedy where like somehow they become like,
he takes him on a mission of some kind.
And they have to do something together.
Yeah, he recruits him. I like that. I think the idea that, I don't know if you could get away with him like introducing the Nazi thing without it, like him having been one at some point or part of a biker gang or something. And he's like, but I'm reformed. I'm a different guy. I like that because then the Nazi guy's the one on the run. And he sees this kid as somebody that he can like either use or who can help him, a kind soul, even though he didn't give him the toilet paper, know, like, yeah.
So you're saying there's the kid and then there's Dougie and then there's the bathroom guy. And what are you saying that he wants? He's reformed, but he's wanting to catch a different
So
Nazi
maybe he
guy?
turned on his gang is the whole thing. He turned on his gang and he's on the run and he sees this as an opportunity. Like maybe they just have a confrontation.
Oh, okay. I like that. I like that. So, okay, he was in a gang and then he's like, and he doesn't want to be, and he somehow unintentionally like ropes it in this dude.
Yeah. And maybe Dougie is still a neat freak, still OCD, where he like goes to get away, but he's like, he has to wash his hands.
Yeah.
So he's just like, it's like he's trying to get the soap to come out and he can't get it to come out. And then it's just like the guy just opens up the thing and it's like, and he's just sitting there and he's like, listen, I'm a stranger who needs help. That's all. Okay.
And then, and that's like where he's like, was it tattoos that scared you? I'm reformed, man.
Yeah.
I'm not about
I ain't
that
no
life
Nazi.
anymore.
Just tattoo removal is expensive.
That's funny. That's funny where it's just the confidence of just like sitting there with the door open.
That's true too. But I like, you have to set up that he's OCD, where he like is maybe begrudging having bathroom duty because he's like, it takes him 10 hours to clean the bathroom because he's so, OCD
it's maybe like this is like the best gas station bathrooms in this part of the
Buc-ee's.
city.
I don't know if you know anything about Buc-ee's, but that people say that Buc-ee's is great.
Yeah, but it's just fun. But him in particular, like he just is so methodical about cleaning things.
Yeah.
I think that's one. He's OCD, and this other guy's no CD.
Yes,
Like,
yeah. I like that. Yeah, he's no CD, and yeah, the idea is that he maybe wasn't pooping in the stall next to him. He just is like legit cleaning the stall. Like he just is working off buffing out some graffiti or something, and the guy's like, "Hey, kid." And he's like snapping underneath the stall. He's like, "Get me some of that TP."
He's like,
"Don't make it double ply, or make it more than single ply."
Give me the good stuff. Yeah, he's sitting there with the door open, and he's like, "Kid, could you please get me some TP? It's not the first time I've used my hand, and I'd rather not do it today. It's in front of you."
Yeah.
It's like, and then maybe this is the moment. This is the little buddy. Like the intro of the movie, we get to see how particular Dougie is, and then when he meets this guy, and he's like, "Oh, okay," and some reason, I don't know, some reason they hang out, some reason they get together, and like this guy's like, because he's like, you gotta come with me, kid. And I was like, what are you talking about? How, like, is he on the run? Like, is he like going from place to place, or is he like in hiding?
I think he's probably either in hide. That's a good question. Probably on the run for urgency's sake, like gets the plot moving, but also he doesn't need to be like found immediately. He could be far enough ahead where, whatever. I think his name is Earl.
Earl.
So it's Earl is the ex-Nazi, and then you have Dougie, who's the kind of string bean OCD kid.
Yeah. I keep picturing some sort of shootout like that, mode. That motivates it does, and it doesn't have to happen that quickly, like right then and there. But it would motivate, because there, I think, needs to be a point where the gang sees Dougie with him, and they're like, "That guy's helping him," and then then that motivates him to have to go with Earl, because Earl can hold his own. But then, like, he needs to get wrapped up enough that the other people think he's part of something.
Yeah, of course. He's like, we don't know what. We can make some funny joke about what the Nazi guys, the biker gang, thinks of Dougie, and like what they think Earl is doing with Dougie. But yeah, I like that Earl probably drives a semi-truck.
I was actually gonna say like some sort of van that he could live in, and that the other guy could be in the back, could just lead to like, he's like, "There's not a lot of room. We're gonna have to spoon." And just
semi-trucks have cabs. Like they sleep in the back. But I mean, that makes him a trucker. That makes him a formal trucker, as opposed to being like on the run.
Yeah.
So I think Earl, you could like this could truck, no pun intended. This movie could truck, where you open up with a little bit about who Dougie is, seeing his OCD, kind of an empty life. He's just arguing with, or customers are like cussing him out and stuff, and the truckers have their like poop jugs that they throw, and they just make a big mess and that kind of thing. It's gross. And if you've ever known anyone or worked at a gas station, that's like, it's just, people treat it terribly. Anyway, and it's in the middle of nowhere. I think maybe giving Dougie a dream of some kind could be helpful. Maybe he's a singer, or likes to sing, or plays an instrument. That's fun.
Yeah, if he went to, but he's not like super confident, but he's pretty good. Because I could see that being he's like singing to himself at some point, and Earl's like,
"Yeah,
dude, you've got the voice of an angel."
Yeah, he's like, "Sing me to sleep." I think
Earl needs to be like a genuinely, like, he's rough and tumble, but like a nice guy to Dougie.
Yeah, this is the story, I think, here, that Dougie wants to be a blues artist, but people have told him, and maybe he's been rejected. We see like him on like a radio program. He calls in or something, and he plays them a song, and they're like, "That was technically good, but it had no soul. You clearly haven't lived a life." And then this is like the Ballad of Earl is essentially the song that he sings at the end. This like turncoat Nazi who like is trying to just make up for all the wrong that he's done, but also is maybe witnessed a crime, and he's like legit on the run. And so there's they come out of the bathroom stall, and Earl apologizes to him, and he's like, "Can I buy you a gas station hot dog?" And he's like, yeah, sure, man. It's like, whatever. And he just like sees the guy, and that's something that Dougie can have an interest in him, because he's like, oh, I see this man has soul. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, it's kind of scary, but once you get to know him, like, Earl's a pretty nice guy. Mm-hmm. And he just tells him, or maybe he like hangs out at the gas station for the whole day and like waits for him to get off. Either way, they strike up a conversation and they sit and they talk, and or maybe he sees something that cues in that he plays. He's got like a guitar pick around his on a necklace or something like that. Mm-hmm. And he's like, you play, man? And they start a band. No,
I don't want to start a band. I think I don't know if I want to make Earl a musician, like as much as just, I think Dougie being like a blues guy that's technically good, but not really, like you don't feel it. It feels hollow and empty. Yeah. Because I picture some like when they're like this kind of cross country-esque, like they're on this weird adventure. I picture some sort of like they're in some sort of bar and stuff, and he's like up there, and like a very Good Will Hunting is like, it's not your fault kind of scene where like Earl's like, dude, you got to do this, until like Dougie's all worked up and like angry at him, and it's like hands him the guitar. He's like, now go play. And then like he gets to like put some raw emotion into his playing, and it's like significantly, and like the crowd goes wild for it in this little like dive bar somewhere.
I like that.
I like that too. Like, I think that's a cool scene.
He's like, if Nazis know anything, it's good music. I like that. I think you could actually even hide a little bit of the plot if you have Earl pretend to be a music agent. Mm-hmm. And he'd have to have some ulterior motive for using him, but maybe a ride to get somewhere or whatever. But he's like, I can get you a deal in Nashville. I know some folks. I'm a little out of the scene, but, blah, 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 blah. And then it comes out that he actually is a character, a biker gang dude, a big dude on the run, and he gets arrested. I kind of really like that now that I think about it. He gets arrested, and this is Earl we're talking about. Mm-hmm. And that kind of splits the relationship. And that's like the third act. There's a big fight with the Nazis and everything. The cops are in there. Earl gets arrested. He's the head of this gang. He decided to run away. He becomes kind of a father figure to Dougie. Then Dougie does a concert in prison. And it just ends with him like playing music like Johnny Cash did in Folsom Prison. And he's just like up there playing his heart out, and it's awesome. And
that's pretty cool.
It's like, and Earl is like, that's my boy.
Well, like, what does Earl go to prison for?
Probably drug trafficking of some kind. He's part of a biker gang. That's the Aryan Brotherhood type dudes. Yeah,
I think that's cool. We've not really hit on like them being pursued at all. Like, are we
by
still
the police
wanting
or by the gang? Both, maybe.
Yeah, are we wanting to still explore? Because I feel like we need to like have the stakes, and we need to resolve them being pursued to some degree. If they're getting pursued by like his ex gang, or if he's not, and it's more just like he's on the run from police or something like that.
The police make sense more than the gang, but I think the gang adds the danger. Like they'll actually shoot at him.
I think the gang adds. With the gang, this could be more of a comedy, which sounds weird, but like if it's just him running from police, it feels less comedic. Like there's less room for like crazy weird stuff to happen.
Yeah.
Where if the gang, like I said, I mentioned the shootout where it's just like they're like, I just imagine they're just like, hey, they're just like having this like chat and this like heart to heart, but it's still early on, and Dougie's like, who are you? Like, what is this about? And it's like, oh shoot, we gotta hide. And then like, there's just like this like car skids in, and this guy starts like shooting an Uzi like through the windows. He's like, what? Like, I like that idea of like, when this is revealed, it's revealed in a big way that he's being pursued. And it's like the biggest, most bombastic, like this whole shootout. And he's like, I should have mentioned my past gang is not happy that I left. And like he's like army crawling like through this like abandoned like coffee shop or something like that.
I think that's cool. I think them being at the gas station when that happens Yeah, we have to kind of match up the timelines here a little bit, where what is Earl's timeline? If he's on the run, then he's got a sense of urgency.
Yeah.
Which is why he would be like, I stopped at a gas station, to use the bathroom. Now, why would Dougie get in the car with him?
Well, that's what I was saying at the beginning. Like, if we do motivate it, like, it's that quick. Like, he doesn't have a lead on these guys. Like, the shootout, the violent, like, the big fight scene happens here.
I just thought of something.
Like, at the gas station shortly after that interaction. Then, like, and they, like, associate him. Like, maybe Earl's in a tight spot, and they're like, say your prayers. You left us. And then, like, he panics and he knocks this guy out with, like, the mop or something like that. And then the other guys are like, hey, this guy's got a friend. And then they, like, like, associate. And then Earl's like, get in the van. And, like, they get in and they go. And then Earl's like, all right, I guess you're with me now, man. I think that all works. And that can be the reason. That would definitely be the reason why Dougie would join Earl, like, out of the sheer
just the first chance he gets to get away, he would. So like the story needs to condense down really quickly, or because they're not, like, spending the night together, or, like, Earl comes to him and is like, after the initial bathroom interaction, he's like, I'll pay you to help me. Like, I'll pay you to come with me, and that, like, gives him some sort of motivation. Or again, we have Earl straight up just lie to him to try and get him to come with him. He's like, you really want this life? I'm going to Nashville right now.
Yeah. I personally feel like the danger urgency path is, like, if we're establishing that he's super OCD, very safe, very, like, non-adventurous.
Yeah.
That if this is the character we're talking about, like, some random grizzled man being like, come with me and I'll make your dreams come true. Like, I don't think he would go with him.
That's true.
I think he would only go with him if people are shooting at him and he's like, get in the car. And he just, like, drives off with Dougie in the back seat. And it's like, whoa, that was a close one, man.
I agree. I think the gang has to show up directly after that. Like,
I think that's also really funny if, like, that's how quick this movie goes. Like, it's like he's, like, in the bathroom cleaning. The guy's like, oh, help. And they have this kind of semi-argument. And then there's just this shootout in the gas station.
Well, yeah, like, they come out, and as soon as they come out, Earl feels bad for, like, scaring him off. So he's like, talking to him. And he's just like, can I get you something to drink or eat or whatever? Like, he's like, no, I work here. Like, I can pretty much have whatever I want. Or maybe the other way around.
Oh, wait. And then he's like, oh, man, can you get me something to drink or eat?
Well, I love the idea that in Earl's movie, basically he turned on his gang or saw something he shouldn't have seen and ratted or whatever. And so they came and hunting him down. And before he could get with the cops or anything like that, he's just on the run. And he has to use the bathroom so bad. He's like, I will stop at this Flying J. And he pulls over, and then he's like in there, and the guy, he's like going to give him the toilet paper, doesn't. So he probably wouldn't be, like, the nicest guy.
Yeah. That's true. That's really fun. That changes the whole perspective of the toilet paper situation, because he's
just like, kid, I'm going to die in here. You, me, and everybody in here are going to die if you don't give me that TP.
All right. And then he goes, and then, there's kind of, like, I like that the idea that they're kind of forced. And maybe it doesn't have to be a full shootout. It's just like this gang comes in, and there's, like, this, like, and it's funny if you give the manager some personality. Like, his manager like knows kung fu, and he's like fighting all these gang members.
Yeah, that is funny.
And then they go
start shooting them, like they have their own gun at the gas station, and starts shooting them himself, or shooting at them, I guess.
Yeah, that's fine. But
I like the idea of, like, a Western style. Like, this feels very Westerny, where Earl and Dougie are sitting down at the little booth part of the restaurant in the gas station, and in comes the other guys, and Dougie's, like, trying to play it cool the whole time, and they're not going to, like, just outrightly shoot him right now. They're just like, you should come with us. Or not Dougie, sorry, Earl. Earl. They tell Earl, like, you should come with us, Earl. Earl the Squirrel.
Earl the Squirrel is like, that doesn't even make sense. I don't have anything in common with a squirrel.
He's like, you're running away.
As he's doing that, he's eating a big thing of peanuts. Like he loves,
he's
nuts.
Like boiled peanuts. It's like, I got nothing in common with a squirrel.
I think a lot of this movie depends on the beginning, and I think we've established the beginning, which I'm thoroughly impressed from your prompt of just the guy who withholds toilet paper from a Nazi.
Yeah.
And then, I think it's a story of them forced together. They don't love it, but they're kind of stuck together until they get this figured out, and they kind of
share each other's dreams.
Yeah, and then he's like, oh, and then he encourages him. He helps him with his music stuff. He helps him with trying to get, and maybe he still goes to jail or something. But I imagine something, they get the gang caught, and maybe that's the climax. Like they do kind of a sting situation, and they get the gang caught, but they're like, he gets arrested too. He's like, no, like we were like trying to make this. Is like, I did some stuff I'm not proud of. Like, I get it. And then I like your ending of he goes and plays in the prison or something. Yeah. They're like, hey guys, we have a special treat for you tonight. We have a local blues artist. And then he perks up and he's like, hey.
And that's like them, they kind of ended on a sour note. Again, he betrayed him in some way. Earl did, like revealed to him, hey, I actually am a real bad guy. I kind of killed some folks. But then he goes and he plays and he's like, oh man. They just look at, it's like the end of La La Land. They look at each other and they don't say anything, but this is the world that is communicated between them.
I like it, man. I think it's a fun, random, weird movie.
It would probably, for how quirky it is, it probably would require a lot more time. So,
yeah. Hey, but that's the bones of it. We need to think of a title up for it. Did you have a title in mind for this?
Not for this. No. I mean, it just seemed like a tiny little node on some of their story. Like, a character's trying to do something, and this is an obstacle for them. It doesn't go much further than this. It's more of a gag within the that's just as much as I had kind of intuited for it. But
I've got
if you have one, dude.
Well, I don't know. I've got like parts, and I think we need to workshop like Blues on the Run. Something like that. Something that has to do with the blues, something that has to do on the run. I personally don't think not putting Nazi in the title is great.
Blue swastika.
But on the run, or I feel like this weird, and maybe we don't have a definitive title for this one, but we got
because we don't have enough of the meat. But there's a lot of flavor to it. I really like Earl the Squirrel. I know that's
Earl,
not the title.
I like that. That's actually funny. That's Earl the Squirrel is just like a.
Yeah. If the main character's name wasn't Dougie, because Dougie is like a very specific name, you could make the title something like Danny and Earl the Squirrel. And then you're like, what is that about? Mm-hmm. It's got like kind of quirky.
It could just be Earl and Dougie.
That's true.
Dougie's like Earl. The more weird name out of the two.
It is, even though Earl is the weird one.
Earl the Squirrel and Dougie Buggy.
Yeah, Dougie the Buggy.
That actually be like kind of funny and cute if like he jokingly, like the gang members called him Earl the Squirrel, and then Dougie calls him Earl the Squirrel.
Yeah,
and he's like, "Well, you're like Dougie Buggy." Yeah. And then he says it as an insult, but then it becomes endearing over time.
And that's his artist name. I'm thinking something like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, where like if you really pushed it into the Western territory and added more of that as a flavor piece, you could have Earl be like, my nickname is blank.
What if you just had Earl the Squirrel and the Blues Singer?
Yeah,
or something like that.
Something like that. Earl the Squirrel and what is it? Because messing with those like indie titles, it's hard. Like it's such a unique thing you have to nail.
Yeah.
But
maybe we just call it Earl the Squirrel. We'll put it Earl the
right
Squirrel.
Right now, yeah, that's our working title. It's the most flavorful piece that we have going on.
Earl the Squirrel. That actually is funny if he was like, if his crime was like drug smuggling of some sort. Like
he's like a runner. He's a smuggler.
He's squirreling it away, and they're like, oh. Yeah, Earl the Squirrel.
And he's like a real. That's a great character. Like I feel like you could put that character anywhere, and it's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we've said a couple of different lines. We're at our along the line segment. Do you have anything that has been bouncing around in the back of your head that is bursting at the seams?
Bursting at the seams. I had a couple of them, but now I can't really remember them. Something that Earl says, I feel like, is probably going to be the more memorable thing.
So I've got a tentative one. I don't know if it will stick or not, but this would be they run off in the van, and in Earl's van, if he has a van, and it's kind of like an 80s camper van thing with a little bed in the back, and I imagine Earl saying, like, it's nighttime and they're parked somewhere, and Earl saying, he's like, "Hey man, you saved me back there. And that means we're brothers now. And that means it's okay for us to cuddle in the back of the van."
Ain't nothing wrong with two men cuddling if they're brothers.
And it's cold. They're brothers. I don't know. It's something It's the best they got right now, man.
That's the best we got right now for this one. Yeah, I think the playing with that line, the exchange of well, looks like we found Earl the squirrel. And he's like, there's nothing. I got nothing in common with a squirrel. And then he's eating the nuts.
I think
that's
too.
A fun one.
I did have this thought of, like, if there is some sort of fight or shootout, and Dougie's like, this is like a short line, but Dougie says, he's like, you're with these guys? And then Earl is just like, yeah, but I'm a good guy now. And he like gets up and he starts shooting a gun like into the distance.
That's good. I like that.
I'm a good guy now.
Yeah, I like that a lot, actually. Yeah. Yeah, but I'm like a good guy now.
Thank you all for listening to StoryFellas, a part of the Pemmican Studios podcast network. Check out our show notes for bonus material, links, and more. To find out more about our current projects, send us messages, and suggest ideas for the show, go to StoryFellasPodcast.com. If you liked what you heard, share the show with a friend. Word of mouth is the best way to grow this community. Until next time, go make and break those stories.